Hey y'all, it's Elisha and welcome back to Elisha's Crafty Hoplop. It is still Sunday, y'all. It is still Sunday, and I am back on with a couple of important bits of news. The downside to not being able to read is I have voice to text on my phone. So when I want to text my friends, I can talk into my phone and it'll either send them a text or if I want, I can send them a voice message, especially if they have an iPhone, which is how I've been communicating with my husband. It's just easier because I don't have to use my optic nerve. But the downside is that when friends send a text, I'm not really supposed to read it. And today I cheated more than I should. A couple of videos I put comments on and I realized I have to stop watching videos. Because don't forget, tomorrow they're checking this optic nerve. And if it's still inflamed, it's going to be another week of no reading, no anything. And I'm sure you all understand. An optic nerve being swollen or inflamed is dangerous. And the reason it's dangerous is it's so close to your brain and you can lose your vision. Now, Miss Pat knows exactly what I mean because Miss Pat has had an optic nerve become inflamed and then completely stop working. And that's how you lose your vision. My mom has lost 80% of the vision and totally like Miss Pat from something similar caused by glaucoma. Mine is not caused by glaucoma. Mine is caused by autoimmune. I have scleroderma. And for whatever reason, this is the first time my optic nerve has ever been attacked. But I am a rare person with scleroderma. I always have neurological involvement. And they used to say that that was more common to lupus than scleroderma. But I'm proving them each and every month that I'm still here, that I'm an example that scleroderma patients can have serious neurological involvement. That's why I have things like strokes, right? And that's how they happen. And the fact that my optic nerve was inflamed also worried them about a stroke. And I was getting that weird tingling. Miss Sheila knows what I mean by that. And so does Lorraine. And unfortunately, so does Lanny. Everyone who's ever had a stroke knows that tingling warning, right? So they say that that's because my optic nerve was inflamed and it's in your brain. And it's so close to those other arteries. And because of my vascular disease, everything was just getting kind of like hyped up. So they caught it just in time. But the reason I can't read is they don't want it strained. If it gets strained, then there's a risk that something awful could happen. So I can't help it though, y'all. So for instance, Crafting with Fury has her Journey to 2000. I'm about to do a VR for that. And Rue 2 is doing a Journey to 1000. And I'm super excited for both of them. Oh my goodness, Diane's videos just warm your heart. They just warm your heart. And this one is no exception, y'all. I'll do my VR in a minute, in a couple of minutes, just separately for both of those ladies. But I'm very excited for both of them. And then I finally cheated. You know, I text back and forth with Alice, absolutely Alice. And we use WhatsApp because it's free. And that way, because she's in New Zealand. And I haven't been checking messages since they told me do not read. Y'all, she needs our prayers. Alice has had a really rough year. I'm sure you all have noticed. Alice usually makes a lot of fantastic videos. In fact, she is one of our most, like in terms of Maggie crafting, one of our really gifted makers. But you've noticed lately that she hasn't made a lot of videos. It's because she has had one hurdle over another. Very much like Alicia Love Letter Generation. They've both had different challenges, but what a year they've had. And they're very, maybe because they were raised like my mama. I have a theory that Australians and New Zealanders are kind of like the British in many ways. They're not, you come to my channel at Hoplopland and everything hangs out. I tell you, my eye's not working. I'm upfront with you about having a stroke. But I think my mother was raised that like you don't share your business. And I think that Alice and Alicia are still living in places very much, despite it being whatever year. And I'm guessing, y'all, it's not like Alicia has ever said this to me or Alice, but it's very rare for them to come on and say, y'all, this is what's going on. And that's just because I think that's a cultural norm there. And we have to be sensitive to cultural norms in different parts of the world. Everyone handles something differently. No system is right or wrong. But right now, Alice does need our support, y'all. She's just had one thing after another. And I mean, when I mean that, I don't mean small things. Yes, she's had a move in the middle of COVID. That's stressful enough. You all know I've got many friends right now, many friends who are moving, and it has been stressful. Moving during COVID is very, very, very challenging. And so all my friends who have had to move during COVID have had so much strain. Okay, that's enough, right? And then having to like reset up your craft space, which can be joyful, but also we all know it's a lot of work. Her brother is in the ICU unit. So here's what I want, y'all. Anyone who prays and well wishes, do me a favor. Just keep Alice's brother and Alice in your thoughts, because it is not an easy thing to go through. We just went through it with Sabrina and her sister. Thankfully, this is not COVID related. It's something else related, but it doesn't change the fact he's in ICU, y'all. And she needs our support. She really does. And again, for so many of us, it's been a trying year, right? But I think for people like Alice, there's a few people on here who have Kayla, Alvia. There are people on here who've had quite a year. Elisha. I mean, everyone down under went through all these fires all summer. Their entire summer was smoke filled, and it was dangerous every minute. Elisha was separated from her family. She had to send her children away. I mean, it got that dire. And then we hit COVID. Like, it's been a year for these folks. So I'm going to ask you to keep specifically Alice and her family in your prayers today. And if you well wish, send those into the universe. But I also want you to keep everyone down under and in that zone in your thoughts and prayers, because, they just haven't got a break, y'all. Like, literally, they went from dangerous forest fires right into COVID. And so that's like Soleil, Paper Milkshake, Heavenly Imaginings, Susan Althaus. She also has had a really tough year. And I mean a tough year. She's got also challenges with her family being ill. If you're going to well wish and pray, please put Susan in that pool. She also needs your support. All of these people who are our friends down under, they've just had nothing but struggle. And that includes Alice in New Zealand. So maybe it's time we just give a whole lot of love to the Down Under crew and to New Zealand, which is why I'm really excited that Rare Root Crafts is doing her Road to 1K challenge. I think that that's going to be something uplifting for her, after a very trying time. So I am going to come back on and do a proper VR for Rare Root Crafts and for Diane Crafting with Fury. But be aware, they do have challenges up, and they're wonderful. Both of them are wonderful with many opportunities to earn points. I just want to support both of these women. I think they're fabulous crafters. I think they're joyful to watch. And they make me smile. All right, y'all. I don't know what you're up to. A part of my, I don't know what they call it, part of my care routine right now is that I have to walk. Because they think that part of how I hurt my neck is that all I do is stay in the apartment. Normally, I'm a very active person. I normally, as you know, wander New York for hours every day. And I stay very fit because of that, despite my illness. But partially what they suspect happened is that COVID has really put a cramp on my style of being able to be fit and active, and that contributed to my injury. So every day I try to get on a walk for an hour. So that's what I'm about to do, y'all. I don't think I'll be back on later today just because I have to rest this eye, but I really wanted to come on and do this special video asking for support for Alice and our Down Under folks, Enchanted by Craft, Heavenly Imaginings, Susan Althaus, Elisha Love Letter Generation, that whole crew. If I forgot anyone, to Neil Paper Milkshake, please forgive me. And the one thing I will come back on to do is a VR for Rare Root Crafts and Diane Crafting with Fury. All right, y'all. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Big hugs, Alice. Big, big hugs.